Hey everyone, welcome back to your weekly market outlook. This is for the 2nd of December 2024. Let's get this started with a very quick recap of last week. So last week we do have a couple of central bank announcements, obviously from New Zealand. Rate unchanged at 4.25%. Inflation numbers there from Australia. This one here is at 2.1%. It is pretty much stable. The market was expecting a little bit higher at 2.5%, but we did get 2.1%. For European inflation, if we take a look at the German numbers, it was a little bit down for the German numbers. However, the Eurozone itself, the year-on-year preliminary numbers here, we actually have a jump from 2% to 2.3% for the Eurozone inflation there. So other than that, we have the PCE numbers coming up from the US there. Monthly changes, it is at 0.3%. A couple of updates in terms of income here. Obviously, we saw an increase in terms of personal income from 0.3 to 0.6%, and personal spending, we saw a little bit of a drop from 0.6 to 0.4%. So that was last week's fundamentals in terms of what we have there. All right. This week, we're going to be focusing on the labor numbers, obviously, but other than that, we have the ISM manufacturing PMI numbers, the services PMI numbers, kind of on Monday and Wednesday. And then we're going to be focusing on the JOLTS job opening numbers here. If we take a look at the JOLTS job opening numbers, we do expect a little bit of an increase here for the JOLTS job opening numbers. The ADP, not really a major concern here, but market's kind of expecting a little bit of a drop on the ADP NFP numbers here. But the main NFP numbers here, we're expecting a huge jump from 12,000 to 202,000. So I think this is a huge forecast because the market is expecting that gain above 200,000 in terms of the NFP numbers there. The unemployment rate expected to bump up a little bit higher from 4.1% to 4.2%. So just look at the consensus here, we're kind of anticipating a little bit of a mixed number here for the labor numbers that's going to be released on Friday. So definitely something to keep an eye out for whether or not that's going to be the case. So we're going to be focusing a lot more on the technicals as well. Let's take a look at the technicals here. I think we are probably set in a week for a potential potential continuation for the US dollar strength here. Australian dollar, we have a bearish pennant there. We also have a bearish order block there, pretty much at 65.50. That's going to cap further progress on the Australian dollar. And also with the bearish pennant here, we're expecting a potential breakdown to happen on the Australian dollar. At point of recording, it is at around 65 here, but it doesn't take much to actually break the support trend line on the bearish pennant there. All we need to do is actually see a daily close below 64.75. That would actually be enough for the market to take the Australian dollar down all the way back to 64 cents. So just a little bit of a warning here for the Australian dollar here, looking a little bit more on the bearish side at this point in time here. The Euro USD, same thing. We also have a little bit of a minor resistance capping the market from progressing any higher. That puts the cap on the Euro USD at 1.06, and at point of recording, we are at that order block there around 1.05, 1.0550. Any close below 1.05, that would actually track the Euro USD. It's going to pressure it down lower towards that support level at 1.0350, where we actually have that low from November. All right. Next is the pound USD. For the pound USD, as I said from last week, it could recover higher. Any break above 1.2660, we don't actually have a lot of resistance. This week, things have changed. We do actually have a couple of resistance, as I said, that has started to build up. That resistance still falls between 127.2% and 161.8% Fibonacci extension though. That's basically at 1.2775 all the way up to 1.2850. There's a lot more focus around the 127 0.2% extension here at 1.2775. That's also where the Kijun Sen is located. So I do expect the resistance to come in just slightly below 1.28. And what's interesting here, at time of recording, we're actually forming an inside bar on the pound USD here. So very interesting to see what's likely going to develop here on the pound USD. I think a lot of traders are probably going to be waiting for Tuesday to kind of jump in and decide on the direction depending on the breakout that happened from that inside bar that happens on Monday here. But yeah, definitely keeping an eye out around 1.2775 to 1.28. I think that's likely going to be where the resistance is going to start coming in for the pound USD. That's where we expect sellers to come in here and potentially push pound USD down from that level there as well. But really highly dependent on the inside bar breakout. Today, are we going to be breaking to the upside, or are we actually going to break to the downside? Ideally, it breaks to the downside, because then it would actually confirm that we saw the resistance there. And in terms of the market structure, we are looking at around 50% of a retracement as well from the major drop that happened in the month of November. So that's the kind of the best case scenario here for the pound USD. All right, lastly, we have the dollar Japanese yen. Dollar Japanese yen, a couple of things to note. Price has returned back to the bullish order block that we have. Price has also come back to the Ichimoku cloud. Price has broken the minor support trend line to the downside, so it has corrected lower. And I think this is the ideal correction level for the dollar Japanese. And what's interesting here, where the bounce happen on Monday morning, that happens at 150 as well. So that's a key level to watch out for. 150 was definitely one of the key major psychological level on the dollar Japanese yen here. And the bounce of 150 coinciding with the bounce of the Ichimoku cloud, also bouncing off the bullish order block, that gives a lot of credibility in terms of where the supports are coming in. And also take a look at the oscillators. The RSI and the stochastics are on the lower end. So if buyers do come in today and pick price up, so we want to see a close above 150.50 to about 151 today, that would actually confirm a little bit more of a bullish piercing, or potentially even a bullish engulfing on the dollar Japanese yen on Monday. Then Tuesday onwards, we're potentially going to see a lot more traders jumping into the dollar yen trade. We're likely going to see the dollar yen strengthen against the Japanese yen. And if that's going to be the case, if we bounce off this level early in December, then we're likely going to see for the month of December the dollar Japanese yen potentially strengthening, coming back to 152 and potentially even retesting 155 in the near future for the dollar Japanese yen. All right, so with that, good luck to trades for this week, and I'll see you soon.